I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937 with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. But we didn't do that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one you won't believe. It's about Hollywood, social media, and the rise and fall of one of the industry's most talked about stars in 2025. We're talking about Rachel Zegler, the actress, who was supposed to be the next big thing, but instead, she's at the center of a social media storm. What was supposed to be a bold reimagining of the classic Snow White turned into a PR disaster, and we're diving deep into how it all went wrong. So, grab your popcorn, because this is a roller coaster ride. Let's get into it. It all started with one video. Rachel Zegler, starring as Snow White in Disney's 2025 remake, made a video from her bedroom, a personal message to defend herself. She wanted to address the backlash, the hate she had been receiving, but instead of calming the storm, it sparked a wildfire. You could see the raw emotion in her eyes, a mix of vulnerability and defiance. She spoke about the criticism she had faced, saying, "Despite all the hate I've received, people still show up. They still line up to support my work." And then she compared herself to the winged victory statue, the broken masterpiece that people still admire despite its flaws. Rachel said, "I can only hope that despite my flaws, people will wait in line to see me too." Pause for effect. Now, this was her attempt to humanize herself, to reach out.
The fact that Disney's budget for Snow White 2025 was well above $350 million altogether when you're factoring in marketing.
To her fans and ask for understanding. But instead of feeling for her, the internet saw something different. Instead of reclaiming her narrative, the video became fuel to the fire. TikTok exploded with reaction videos, memes, and even mockeries of Rachel's emotional plea. People thought her response sounded self-centered and out of touch. On Twitter, users started the hashtag #snowflop, dragging her further into the mud. The video, which was meant to make people see her humanity, became a symbol of her downfall. What was supposed to be a reimagined version of Snow White, empowering, modern, and progressive, had instead become a disaster.
And then
Why?
They couldn't put
Because
dwarf,
Rachel, in
because this is
trying
just
to make her
so
Snow White
typical of the
stronger,
left.
insulted the original story.
$45 million
She called the prince in the 1937 film a stalker and dismissed the romantic aspect of the story as weird and outdated.
For context, The Little Mermaid,
Now,
which also
imagine
faced
the
its own share of
blowback from
casting
Disney
controversy,
loyalists,
debuted at a
fans
much
who have
stronger
grown up with the
$95
original.
million.
To them,
Compared to that,
Snow White isn't
Snow
just a
White was
story.
dud.
It's a
Industry
legacy.
analysts were
And for
stunned.
Rachel to say she
For
was
Disney,
rewriting
a
it
company
because
known
it was
for dominating the
outdated
theatrical space,
felt like a slap
this wasn't
in the
just a
paw.
bad weekend.
Face.
It was a monumental miscalculation.
But it didn't stop there.
Major theater chains
The movie was
began quietly
released,
pulling
and
Snow
fans were
White
expecting
from premium
big
screens
things.
and downgrading
But what
its
they got
showtimes.
was a huge
Some
disappointment.
chains removed it
The box
entirely
office
within the second
numbers
week,
told the painful
citing poor
truth.
performance and weak ticket
45
sales.
million in the
It was a
US.
catastrophic blow,
That was
not
all the
only
film
to the
could
film,
pull.
but to Rachel
And during
Zegler's
its opening
public image.
weekend.
As
When
if
you
that wasn't
compare it
enough,
to Disney's other
tensions became
live-action
visibly
films,
apparent
like The
during her
Little
appearance
Mermaid,
at the
which made
2025
$95
Academy
million,
Awards, paired
it's
with
clear
co-star
that
Gal
something
Gadot
had
to
gone
present the
horribly
Oscar for
wrong.
Best Visual Effects.
This wasn't
the two
just a
women
flop.
walked the red carpet
This
side
was
by
a
side,
monumental
but
misstep.
their body language
And
said
if
it
that
all.
wasn't bad,
Gadot, once
enough
friendly
major
and warm
theaters
during
started
the film's
quietly
early
pulling the
promotion,
film.
now appeared
Premium
cold and
screenings,
disengaged.
gone.
She barely
Showtimes,
looked in Zegler's
downgraded.
direction, avoided
Some
eye contact
theaters even
during
removed it
interviews,
entirely
and stood
within just
stiffly
2
while
weeks.
cameras rolled.
For Disney,
Fans
the
and
company
gossip
that
blogs
practically
noticed
rules
immediately.
Hollywood,
Body
this was a
language
massive
experts dissected
blow.
every interaction,
Rachel was now
concluding
stuck
that the
in the middle of it
relationship
all.
between the two had clearly
The weight
soured.
of public
While
criticism
Disney
was
tried to
unbearable,
downplay the situation,
as if things couldn't get
insiders later
worse.
confirmed
Her
that Gadot,
appearance at the
though contractually
2025
obligated to promote the
Oscars
film,
made it
had
even
been
more
quietly
obvious
distancing
that
herself
Hollywood
from
was
Zegler
turning
and
its
the
back on
project.
her.
And unlike Zegler,
Walking the red
Gadot's
carpet with
reputation
co-star Gal
remained
Gadot,
untouched.
their body
She
language
continued
said
booking
everything.
roles, landing endorsements,
Gal, once
and appearing
friendly
at
and
major
warm
events
during the
without
film's early
controversy.
promotion,
Zegler,
now barely
meanwhile,
made eye contact
found
with
herself
Rachel.
increasingly isolated.
Silence spoke
Once
volumes.
hailed as the next big
Gal's
thing after
coldness
her
and
breakout in West
disinterest
Side
became the
Story,
focus of
she was now
fans and
swimming
gossip
in a sea of
blogs.
criticism.
People
Her
were
red carpet
saying that the
moment,
tension
intended
between
as damage control,
them was too
had
obvious
instead
to
cemented
ignore.
her as the face of the film's failure.
Behind the scenes,
where other
it was
stars might have
confirmed
weathered
that
the storm
Gal
with
had
humility
distanced
or
herself
public
from
support,
Rachel.
Zegler
And
faced
unlike
near
Rachel,
total silence.
who was sinking in a sea of
Co-stars said
criticism,
nothing.
Gal's
directors,
career continued
writers,
to thrive,
and fellow celebrities
landing
offered
big
no
roles and
defense.
endorsements
Her
without
social media
any
pages were flooded
controversy.
with criticism.
Meanwhile,
and even her most
Rachel
loyal
found
fans
herself
struggled
alone,
to shield her
a
from the
once
fallout.
rising star,
Behind the
now
scenes,
swimming in the chaos of
silence
her own
grew louder.
making. Her
Industry
social media
insiders
flooded
began
with
leaking
hate,
that her future
and even her
projects were
loyal
being
fans were
quietly
struggling to
reevaluated.
defend her.
Studio conversations
No one came to
that
her
once buzzed
rescue,
with excitement
not
over
her
ZEGLER'S
co-stars,
potential were
not
now
the directors,
stalled. Was
not
she
even
still
Disney
bankable?
itself.
Could
The
she anchor another
silence was
campaign?
deafening.
Or had she become
Hollywood's
a
whispers
liability?
began.
In an era where
Was Rachel
social
still
media
a bankable
perception
star?
holds as much weight
Was
as
she a
talent,
liability
the
now?
verdict was becoming clear.
Her future projects
and it
were
wasn't
suddenly
just
up for
about one
debate.
bad movie.
Would she
It was
ever
about
recover
the
from
choices
this?
made during the film's
And more
rollout.
importantly, could she?
ZEGLER'S repeated dismissals
Because at this
of the
point,
original Snow White,
it wasn't just
her
about
apparent
one
disdain
bad
for the
movie.
traditional narrative,
It was
and her
about
tone throughout
everything she had
interviews struck
said,
audiences
the
as
way she had
disconnected from
handled
what
the
they loved about
criticism,
the Disney brand.
and the
Her
choices she
attempts to
made
be
during the
empowering
film's
were interpreted by
rollout.
many as arrogant and self-important.
In her
She
interviews,
tried to champion
she
a new
seemed
kind of heroine,
disconnected from
but to
what
fans,
people loved
she
about
had instead
Disney.
insulted the
Her
legacy
attempt to
of the old
champion
one.
a new kind of
This wasn't
heroine
merely
felt
a box
arrogant,
office
as
disappointment.
if she were
It
putting the
became
old Disney
symbolic.
stories down
For some,
instead of trying to
ZEGLER
elevate
embodied
them.
what they saw as
This
Hollywood's
wasn't
out-of-touch prioritization
just a box office
of
failure.
ideology over storytelling.
For some, it represented
For others,
something bigger.
she became a scapegoat
Hollywood's
in a larger
obsession with
debate
ideology
about identity
over
politics
storytelling.
and feminism in film.
And for others,
But either
Rachel
way,
became a
she became
scapegoat in a
lightning
debate
rod,
about
and her
identity
image,
politics and
once poised to
feminism in
blossom,
film.
now stood at the center
At
of a
this
cultural
point,
storm.
Rachel Zegler's
ZEGLER'S
image had
team
become
is
synonymous
reportedly
with
working
failure.
overtime.
She was no longer
Publicists
just an
are pitching
actress.
redemption-themed
She was a symbol of
profiles.
Hollywood's
Agents are arranging
mistakes.
softer press appearances.
But is there a way back
The
for
goal,
her?
reframe
Maybe.
the narrative, restore her image,
Hollywood has
and
a history of
reestablish her
forgiving.
as a viable star.
Stars like
But
Robert
the
Downey
task
Jr.
is
and Drew
monumental.
Barrymore bounced
Rebuilding
back after
trust
much
with
bigger
audiences
controversies.
After a controversy of this scale
But what did
requires
they do?
either an act of deep humility
They
or a
showed
breakout
humility,
project that forces
connected
people
with their
to reconsider.
audience, and let their
So
talent
far,
speak louder than
ZEGLER
their
has offered
headlines.
neither. Worse
For
still,
Rachel,
the very
that
nature
window
of a
may
brand,
still be
once
open,
built
but
on
it's up to
youthful
her.
promise and sincerity,
Does she keep
is
defending
now
herself,
viewed through a lens
or does
of
she start
irony.
rebuilding?
Fans who once
What
celebrated her
do you
authenticity
think?
now mock
Was
her
Rachel
for being out
Zegler
of
treated
touch.
unfairly,
Her viral bedroom
or did she
video,
fuel her own
intended to be
downfall?
heartfelt, is
Can
now
she make a
looped and
comeback,
memed as a symbol
or
of
has public
celebrity
opinion
meltdown.
turned against her
Her
for
critics
good?
compare her to other
Let us
infamous
know your
PR
thoughts in the
disasters
comments.
in Hollywood
And
history.
if you're enjoying
And
deep
perhaps
dives
most
into the
damning of
entertainment
all,
industry's
she
biggest
has,
turning
at least for
points,
now,
don't
become
forget to
synonymous
like,
with one of Disney's
subscribe,
biggest misfires
and hit that
in
bell
recent
so
memory.
you never miss a
Is there
story.
a path back?
Because in Hollywood,
Possibly.
one role
Hollywood
can
has
make
short
you,
memories
but
and
one
long
misstep
forgiveness for
can
the right
break
people.
you.